Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back. Today is day two. We are on day two of the 21-day reality check for relocation. So, if you are here, welcome. If you know somebody that is looking to move abroad, need you to go ahead and share this live with them because we are going to be covering not only why, some of the reasons why they may be looking abroad, but realistically, if you should move abroad. A lot of people are returning home because they found out they weren't actually the person that should have moved abroad. And what we're going to do here today is have a reality check and get into some things regarding relocation, regarding moving abroad. And this doesn't matter if you're going to Colombia, if you're going to Mexico, Panama, South Africa, Thailand, doesn't matter. You guys need to realistically ask yourself if you are ready to move abroad and if you should. I don't want it to be something that is seen as the trendy thing to do. Most people's knee jerk reaction is to jump, to do something when things aren't going their way. I often will tell you to take a little time. Take a little time with the entire relocation process and understanding that it is a journey. It is not just another move. And so many people are really looking into relocating and not understanding that the intention that goes behind this. So many people don't realize that they are a privileged American. And the moment that you get abroad and on the other side of the TSA, you might start getting access to certain privileges that you didn't have access to back home or back right where you are. And it's an often time to be introspective with yourself and look at who you really are. Because sometimes, and we've seen this, never mind leaving the United States, but more so in America, people, being humble, being not necessarily meek, but a people's person. Then all of a sudden gaining some sort of power, exclusivity, and all of a sudden becoming a different person. You no longer remember the person that you used to know. And what is happening without a lot of checks and balances are people are leaving and going abroad for the first time and getting access to privileges that in America really didn't go that far for them. Yet abroad it gives you access to these privileges in an abundant way and now are becoming the people that they are looking to leave in America. And it comes to ask you, are you ready to leave the United States? Should you leave the United States? Is relocation actually right for you? So many people are in a different positions. Some people may be leaving, going by themselves. Some people may be leaving with their family, their husband, their kids or kid. Some people may be leaving with their parents. There's a lot of different nuances when it comes down to you, the person that is leaving. And you have to look at these with a very fine tooth comb and thinking and looking at it from a way of, is this for me? You guys are seeing so many things go viral on all of the platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever one that is your hat, the social media platforms. And a lot of times you are equating that virality, this lived experience by someone that was canned into a lovely 1 minute package for you so you could say, oh, that could be me, and not realizing that you aren't that person. You don't know how that person makes money. You may have certain ailments or don't have certain ailments that you may have to put on your radar when you consider where you are going. And a lot of people are just literally throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying, hey, I'm tired of America. Best thing I'm seeing on the internet is, excuse me, to leave. And maybe it is the best thing. Maybe it is the best thing for you. Maybe it is a success story where it becomes a moment in time where you can look exactly when you left and say, everything changed. Yet that change can be both positive as well as negative. And a lot of you guys aren't realizing that. I will be the first person to tell you, I'm not here to convince you to move abroad. That is not what this platform or any of these days in the 21 relocation reality check is designed to do. It's designed to check you and make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure you know that this isn't for virality and all of the things that people will tell you about how cheap it is. And that's easy to do. What's not easy to do is actually look into yourself and have a conversation with somebody you may not know, but somebody that cares enough to sit with you and say, even if it is already on your radar, have you really sat with yourself and asked, am I ready? Am I ready to learn a new language? So many people, when you go into looking into what people are looking for when it comes to relocation, and especially when it comes to Colombia, they ask, do I need to learn Spanish? That right there, that question, do I need to learn the local language of where I'm going? That oftentimes leads to why we're here tonight, which is, are you ready to go? Maybe you're not ready to go because if you're asking, do I need to learn the local language? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you need to learn how to go to the bathroom? Why wouldn't you need to learn how to say, hey, I've got a food allergy. Does this have it in there? Basic things. Now, you might say, well, I don't want to do that. Well, then there's plenty of places in the world that may speak English and that is their local language. But even going to places like Thailand and Indonesia, English is not the first language. There are people there that don't speak English. Navigating how to get into the other things. And I asked this question the other day, what's keeping people? And a lot of people said a number of things. I need to make money and, community. And those things are definitely important. But I don't know if a lot of people ask themselves, well, I want to move, but I really don't know if I'm ready for a life outside of the United States. There are comforts that I have that I didn't give up by living abroad. Then there are other things that were comfortable, but without them, they're not that big of a deal. Now, I'm telling you guys, where I live is going to be where I live. Where you have on your radar may be specific to where you go. But I know that I have access to, I would say 95% of everything that I had. In the 5%, I've learned to live without it, or I've learned to look at my life in a different perspective. Because a lot of people, they want America's convenience without America's mess. But America is America, and everywhere else is where everywhere else is. So asking yourself, with questions like, do I need to learn Spanish in Colombia or Mexico? Some places may be easier for you to take a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of knowledge, and get acclimated. But you are going to have to get a little bit deeper in your Spanish if it's the local language. So many of the places that you guys are actually looking to move abroad. I mean, outside of Mexico, and I would say Cancun is definitely one. Playa del Carmen, they've got resorts, but a lot of the other places that are the top places for expats, Americans looking to move abroad, they aren't resort towns. They're not American resort towns. I don't get too many people asking me about moving to Jamaica. There are many people that do live in Dominican Republic as well, in Punta Cana and Santo Domingo. But the other places like Colombia, Panama, there are resorts, but they're like super, super far off. Cartagena has one American style resort. I say that is because you are asking to be in with the people. You guys go home and think that you travel when you are travelers and not taking the thought process that, oh, well, I've been to the DR and I've been to Mexico and I've been to Jamaica. So I'm a traveler. I know how things work. And you've never been to Colombia. And that American thought process that you have done the right thing already, some people have. But a lot of you guys aren't in the position to have, yet are still moving with the privilege as if you have already done this. And where it comes in, and what I'm seeing a lot on the internet, is that I see that there are people that are abroad that aren't and weren't ready to move abroad. The interesting things that happen to them, whether it's the negative things, somebody taking their stuff, things getting scammed, that can happen. However, many times the probability of it happening is increased because people come ignorantly when moving abroad. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that's watching this. What I mean ignorant is I don't know. And I think I do. So when asking and telling people, hey, this is how you operate when you come to a place, and thinking that making statements about anywhere based off of an individual experience as an American, maybe your first time living abroad. I think a lot of people have to check the privilege before packing the bags. I think that right there is a lot of why some people may see friction in places where people went and didn't check their privilege, being they just packed their bags. And what you ended up having is a person scenario where they're thinking that the world was waiting for them. So I will have the tough conversations with you because maybe I end up seeing you here in Medellin. Maybe I see you in the airport somewhere, or meet you out in the travel streets, or maybe I never see you ever. However, I know that what you go record, what you go, how you go operate, and then the masses turning around and doing the same things that can be seen as detrimental to a community, detrimental to a society, detrimental to a country that didn't need you, you asked to be in, and not realizing that it impacts all of us and you, the person that wants to travel. Some of these things that we are seeing go viral are the reasons why you might have friction in some places. Or people will say, oh, here comes another ignorant, arrogant American. Well, hold on, I'm not like that. Yes, but we see countless of you guys come in and act this way. And when I talk to my people, I have to talk to us because I know what we go through in the United States. As I mentioned, the privileges that we have, even if you're not even a black person, you don't realize that you have these privileges because in America, they don't really do anything for you. You're the money that you have, whether you make $30,000 or $100,000, everyone's starting to feel the crunch because America just costs too much. That's just plain and simple. And you take a $30,000 salary and you say, well, this gives me this kind of life in the US. Maybe you need to go to a smaller city in a smaller state to make it go further, but it's only going to go so far. Whereas you take $30,000 on a global scale and you put that up to the local economy and the local wage, making 30,000 USD. And now all of a sudden, I've seen these videos come out. I'm the 1% in these places. And it's said with such an air where I asked, were you ready to come? Because the way that you're carrying on now that you are the person with the money and the person with the privilege that you did not have in the United States, you are now running as if people should be privileged that you have brought your presence and brought your United States American dollar. And I ask you guys, who do you think you are? So tonight's conversation is about maybe you should not move abroad. Maybe you should wait and figure out what matters to you. Cameron said it back in the day. What means the world to you? Do you know? Do you know if given the keys to the 1% of the financial population, would you want to be around who you become? If you were in a position where you could volunteer and help in the community versus saying certain things about communities that have welcomed you in, what would you do? You have to realize when you say, I want to move abroad, I'm looking to move abroad, you're saying, I hope that America and the passport that I have now is still good. We're watching right now the American passport one has fallen out of the top 10, and that's before this year. However, things are going to start tightening up for people that are looking to move abroad. You know why? Because the United States does what it does. In America, the only thing that can happen a lot of times is reciprocity. So you want to say these people can't come in, or this dollar amount is what it is going to cost you to get into America. Well, what other countries will do is turn around and say, well, it's going to cost you now. It's no longer visa free access. And that is what is happening. It may not be happening on the headlines in the viral news, but it is happening. What we are seeing across regions and the president that is in the United States seat, all of this impacts you, which is why we have these conversations because I can't touch everybody, but I know if somebody has heard what there it is on this platform that we talk about, you shouldn't, not saying you're going to be guaranteed, but you shouldn't come here with some of the ignorance and the arrogance that we see online. And you're asking, why would someone act this way? Why would someone that may not throw money in the streets of the United States come abroad and go and throw money in the streets of Colombia, of Mexico, of Panama because the people need it? Who are you before you leave the United States? Do you know? That's why I ask people before you check your bags, check your privilege, check who you are. Because you are going to get access to something that you had, but you didn't have the keys to unlock it. You didn't have the ability to realize that you need to say, well, one of the other biggest questions that come up, speaking of that, is community. I don't have a community there. I don't have a community. I don't have any family. I don't have any friends. And so many of us have moved with those same things. However, so many of us are in a lot different position than you are. Okay, so in the United States, you guys run into so many scenarios. You might have brothers or sisters, you might have friends, cousins, and what you realize is, everybody kind of runs in their own lane. Some people may even gatekeep information depending on what kind of circles you are in. And that might work for America. That might work for what goes on in America. And it probably isn't working for you, which is part of that itch, part of that scratch that you feel that's saying, I got to get out of here. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it, but something's making me want to leave. So you get into these scenarios and people are saying, well, I don't want to leave because I don't have any friends or a community. Well, that no new friend stuff, you need to leave that right there, right where you are in Philadelphia, in Atlanta, New York, Miami, wherever it is that you are, you need to leave it right there. One thing you're going to get in when you get outside, and this is in the Asian communities, this is in Latin American communities, what you will see is families being families together, friends and families coming together. So when you talk about your community that you may have to leave behind going in the United States, and you might say, well, I don't know anybody, but I just want to leave. You could be open for said community. You might not know these people right now. You might not have met these people right now, but you get together and you share stories with each other and you compare notes and you find out you've got so much in common. Do you know I went to Morehouse College? Do you know how many Morehouse brothers I have met down here? And I'm talking about not people I went to college with. I've met Morehouse brothers from as old as my father. I've met guys that were a senior at Morehouse at the time coming down here. I've met guys that were a couple of years older than me and we didn't know each other. And that's just me and my niche with Morehouse. But I say that is because, if I was closed off, I would have maybe went home because I wouldn't have had no community. I wouldn't have got settled or had any success with moving abroad. So when I ask you, are you ready? Because if you're not willing to meet new people, if you have a very closed off spirit, you're not looking and being open, you are not going to have a good time and you are better off staying there. One of the other things from a finance perspective, because a lot of people, they say, oh, I want to move abroad because it's so cheap, and I get, things in the United States cost a lot. And one thing we have to check as far as our privilege is, the internet is a weird place now. People just put stuff on the internet. Everything, America and the internet just in general, global, but America's really good at this. And I'll tell you guys all the time, America, they tell us to wear our bank accounts on our bodies. So, I've got to show you I got a Rolex. So I show you I got a Benz. I got to show you I have a car or I'm in a house in, a gated community, whatever the case is. I got to show you this. I have to show you that I have nice clothes and can afford these things because that's where my value is. And so many of you guys take that American thought process and get right on the other side of the TSA and say, oh, my money goes further. Let me show you all of my value, everybody. Let me wear my designer in places where the average monthly salary could be under $500. Let me put my Gucci on or my Louis. And how dare you say I can't go there? Why would I want to go somewhere where I can't wear my Gucci and my Louis? And I say to you, like, who are you? Like, are you Gucci? Are you Senor Louis? Is that where you are? That's why I say you might not be ready to go. Well, I don't want to go anywhere where I can't. Well, go to the places that you can because the people here don't care about that stuff. The real people don't care. And the only people that care is probably somebody that wants something from you. But you guys have your head so wrapped up in what America has told you and what success means. So that means that, oh, I can just go abroad, lower my cost on how much I'm living, and now I got a Gucci lifestyle. Now I'm living like a king. Ooh, I am now the 1%. I see it and I just shake my head. Who are you? I know that when I see that, those people didn't ask themselves that. They didn't say what I should be or who I should be when I get to my destination. What am I leaving behind? And what am I looking to gain from a, how can I be a part of a community? It's been hard being in the United States for a while. Everything is this. Everybody's in their own silos. You can't get a brother and a family of five with five different households to come buy the land, build five separate houses. Everybody would be living cheaper and nobody wants to do it because everybody got to make it out the mud by themselves. And the illusion of the American dream gives everybody the thought process that, yo, just keep working hard, bro. Just keep working, keep going. And the moment you keep going, there's a moment you're going to get it. And when you get it, you're going to have it. And y'all end up spending the rest of your life, 60 some years old, still saying, I'm going to get it. I'm going to have it. Not realizing that anybody knows me, I tell you this, we are only here to be with each other. Now we gotta go to work and stuff, that's modernity and society and everything. But the realistic goal is to be here with each other. Today was one of the federal holidays in Colombia, 18 federal holidays. That means that there's a federal holiday every month, plus another six more times after that. So what that means is people get off and they be off. Like, don't call, don't expect a lot to go on. Like, don't call me about a house, a boat. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I respect that. But at moments when I first got here, I was like, I can't get nothing done. I gotta get stuff done. I gotta get things done. People are like, I'm with my family. What? Like, you calling me? And at first I was like, But after almost going on 9, 10 years in Colombia, I've realized I hadn't checked my privilege yet. And this was at the time I was visiting. But I hadn't checked my privilege yet. Because I was in a place where those things didn't matter. I was running at the speed of light. And I wanted everybody to run at the speed of light because that's how everybody runs in America. Yeah, going to a place, people say, oh, I love the beach, slower pace of living. But are you ready to live a slower pace of life? Or are you just telling yourself something that just sounds good and you see people doing it, so it seems like a reality, but is it your reality? Are you ready to, come and bring that drawbridge down and say, hey, I don't know you, but we seem to have a lot in common. Or let me go out and meet some people. Or let me go to a language exchange and I'll meet people. Plus, I'll also practice the language of the land that I've asked to be in. When you go to the airport and you go to you get on the plane and you go to, and you get off and you stand in that immigration line and they call you up for the immigration. You literally walk to the immigration line with your passport, like, can you let me into your country? You've asked to be there. So how dare you come with this attitude as if somebody was waiting for you, the individual, and all of the US dollars and all of the US things that you have in your mind and your head. Nobody's waiting for you. Nobody is waiting for you. You need to be a good person because this world, I'm sorry, you've been in an American bubble, the world will spit you out. You've been running around America and scamming people and taking advantage of people and running off of people's money and think you just gonna pack up and find a new home and you're gonna go somewhere abroad and just keep up the same grift. Okay, you think you're gonna get a Netflix special. It's gonna be the wrong Netflix documentary. I'm telling you, these things, I tell people, you may not be ready. And that's okay. Now you can better your life with some of the things that come on this platform and the thought process and the things that we try to get you guys to ask yourself and not have to leave the United States. But if you're here, you're probably looking to leave. But tonight you probably didn't think that you was going to get checked. You reality check. A thought process to say, yo, why the relocation guy, the guy that's supposed to get me out the country, telling me to stay my ass home? Because nobody needs you, not another community, not anybody. You need them. You need whatever expat destination you have on your radar. You need them. That's why I tell you guys, make sure you know what you're leaving and make sure you know what you're looking for. Check it. Check it like some luggage. Make sure you know what you're weighing, how heavy it is. Because the moment you take the American weight off of you, that weight that's on your ass, you're going to be a different person. Now, that could be good or bad. I have no idea who you are, what you're going to do with the privilege that you now have access to on the other side of the TSA. But what I am seeing is downright disgusting, especially from us, because I know people go home and they're like, you know what? People treat me this way because of how I look. They don't give me a fair shake because I'm a black person. Somebody might be gay. I'm a woman. They show up and they give me all this grief just because of who I am. Yet they show up in another country, ask the immigration lawyer, can I get let into your country? And they say, all right, bro, you got 90 days, don't go wild. And they go over here, and these people that they meet, they have these, everybody wants to be an influencer. I haven't gone viral, and honestly, I really don't even think I want to because people, the comments, it'd be a lot. A lot of people won't even listen to what you have said. A lot of people just react. But a lot of times, if you take a minute and listen to what I've said, I'm doing my best to educate Americans that aren't coming out of the United States with any education, any understanding about what is going on in the outside of the United States. And I say this is because once you get those keys, who you become when that weight is off of you, that weight of America, that feeling that you have, that you will say, I don't know what it is, but something's telling me to leave. That thing that you're having a fight or flight moment. And you can't fight. What you gonna do? Run with the cops? What are you going to do? Vote? What are we doing? Checks and balances is in the wind right now. So what are you going to do? Some of y'all are like, this is my only option. Okay, if it's the only option, I understand that. I was there. I was at my wit's end. Without a Donald Trump president, I was already at my wit's end. But I had to stop. I had to stop and wait and take a deep breath and pause and say, what means the world to me? Because at the moment that I left, do you know what I had in my possession? I had a Mercedes Benz. I had given up the drop top. I got another Mercedes Benz because living in South Florida, got to have a Mercedes Benz. I had 80 pairs of shoes and 1,000 track jackets and track suits and hoodies and jackets and the stuff that made y'all think that I had it. I was doing great. I had it because that's why I bought it, but I needed y'all to know that. Every time I see him in a different car, that was on my back. I don't know what's on your back. I don't know who you are and what you're going through. But what if I would have been taking that thought process in that scenario and that thinking that, I need to get over to I get the nicest car in Colombia. I'm gonna go get the house that every time I go on the internet, this is an artificial background. Y'all don't need to see where I live. Who am I doing this for, y'all or myself? As far as relocation, as far as getting out of America. That's why I ask y'all doing this to become a content creator? You're leaving America and giving up all of that comfortability that you have being your special self just to become a content creator? So other people and what they think, that is where your value is? I mean, think about this, guys. It's okay not to leave. It might not be on your radar. But what's not okay is to come out here and be unprepared and then be in a position, because what you guys don't know is even if you don't want to be a part of the community, you are part of the community. Yes, you are. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna paint an example and a picture for you so y'all understand how interconnected this is. Because you've already seen it, but you didn't realize that 1 and 1 was actually 2. What you guys have to put your heads around is you've seen these already. You can go on anything, YouTube, Facebook, whatever the case is, these travel stories. These black travel stories, and you see these things, and these people are saying things that are about countries, and this is how it's supposed to be, and why didn't they speak English? And I know it's a Muslim country, but why didn't they I can't wear a thong bikini? Like, you've seen these things, and do you know what that does? You got people around the world that have never seen a black American in front of their faces. There are people in Colombia that have never met, and you think you've never met a black person that speaks fluent Spanish. These people have never met a black person that speaks fluent English. And the only thing they see, the world is giving us the internet. Now we can see so many people around the world all the time, what everybody's doing. And you get these things that go viral about us. And then that's the perception. So when you get here, they're like, oh my gosh, you're so different than what I thought. Where would you get that from? Well, so-and-so wants to go to so-and-so place and say that this is the case and what you should do. So-and-so ain't been there. So-and-so don't understand. So-and-so might have even been there for a long time. You ever known a person that is old and dumb? Just because you've been on the earth for a long time, that don't mean nothing but a shelf life. That doesn't mean that you learned anything. I've lived here for 5 years in Colombia. That doesn't mean you've learned anything. I know people that have lived here for 2, 3 years and was amazed at me ordering at the restaurant. What is wrong with you? You've been here as long as I have and you don't know how to order at a restaurant? Why are you here? Just to take your American dollars and make it make sense for you, but do everything that would displace the community, displace. That's why I'm like, it's best so some of you guys stay. Sift, sift through this information that is on the internet. Check these people. Listen, hear their message. Ask for clarity. But a lot of these people are misleading you guys, and you guys are thinking that you can come live a life outside the United States just as you are. And I say, don't you dare. Don't you dare come outside and become the 1% and become the people that you're looking to leave America in America. These things have to be had with conversation, and I need y'all to take it seriously. I can sit here all day and talk to you about resources and visas and all that stuff. That's easy. We have our February 16th, 22 to 22nd Medellin relocation tour. If you are looking to come and move abroad, what we do is connect you to all of the resources, all of the fun stuff that you know you need. You know, you need to know where you live, what neighborhood, what apartments. You need to know the visas that you have access to, what renting looks like, all of that stuff. We connect you to the community. I'm one of the admins of the Black in Medellin chat. We have now grown, I think, another Facebook group over to 800 people. There's over 500 people in the WhatsApp group. There's a lot of us that are moving here and moving out and traveling, but they're not doing it the right way. So the relocation and scouting trip gives you the opportunity to put your boots on the ground, realistically get walked handhold with this so you do not go about getting scammed. Then get handheld right into the community so you can see what it is that we do. You might not want to be a part of it with everybody, but there's going to be some people in the community that you're going to job with. This is what you can see so you can go and test drive if moving abroad is realistic. You might take some of this conversation and then come put up your boots on the ground and just say, you know what? I might not be ready for all this yet. And you, future you, will actually thank yourself. Yes, it might cost a little investment, but that's things. You're spending money at the turn of a hat. It's $100 a bag of groceries. However, I think we got a code running right now. You can take $350 off. The information is at moodtravelabroad.com. The discount code is RT350. You can take $350 off the February 16th to the 22nd Medellin relocation tour. But let's get back into it, because I needed y'all to know that. But seriously, let's get back into it, because a lot of y'all are doing this thing where y'all like, well, what if I move abroad and make a huge mistake? Ugh. Have you been here? Welcome. If you don't know where you are, you're at Black Expat Life Abroad. And on this channel, you can find out the answer to that question. Because the answer to that question is then you've not listened to any of the 300 plus videos that are on this channel. There's no way that you could have listened to that and say, what if you moved abroad and made a big mistake? Well, you wouldn't have sold all your stuff without knowing where you were if you were paying attention to what it is going on in this conversation. Walk the destiny that you want. Don't just say it. People always tell me, oh man, I want to go live on the beach. And, I just want to, my boy told me that. Shout out to my boy, Devin. He said, I'm going to live on the beach and I'm going to go snorkeling. Me and my lady. He's like, huh? I'm like, go do that. Before you go start your stuff, just go do that. Go do that for a solid month. Just that. Live or walk around that lifestyle. Do your Tuesday thing. And then see if you still want to do it. Damn, I think about it like that. Yeah, so many people is just jumping out and saying, well, I heard Medellin is the best place. There's so many folks there and it's great weather and it's all of this stuff. I want to be there. Oh, have you come? No, I just heard it's a great place. Oh yeah, I went to one place. Or I did some research on ChatGPT. Have you walked one of these streets? Have you had to go into a place where they say, yo, this place is big, but it has no elevator. But it's the perfect place for you, but you hadn't ever walked up those 3 flights of stairs yet. But you're ready to sell everything you know. You're ready to get uncomfortable. You done already got comfortable with all the BS that goes on in America. And you ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater and literally be like, well, I'm gonna just wing it. I'm gonna wing it. Listen, it's the ocean. There's sharks in the ocean. Whales, sharks, things that will take advantage of you. This platform is designed to help give you the resources, give you the pause before you get on the other side and say, damn, I really did it. I thought I did the research, but I realized I didn't do half the things that I realized that I needed. This is why we're here, helping you realize the things that you need. So many of the success rate is involved with who you become and who you are, what you're willing to give up, the type of person that you may have to leave behind. So many people are looking for a career change, and I'm like, you might need to look for a you change. You might be living real wrong in the United States and think you're gonna go live real wrong somewhere else. I'm telling you, it's safer there. No, but it's dangerous. No, people just don't play like the United States does. The United States plays a lot. That's why we got the president that we have. That's why we see what we see, because they playing too much. People don't play like that. And I need y'all to understand that. You have the opportunity to change your life, transform your life. When I look back at the last full time 3 years of me being outside of the United States, my life is like an AM and AM. It's like a what do you call that? Situation where it's not even an AM and PM scenario. It's like what my life was before and what my life is now. Because my life was before I had a lot of the things that a lot of people are already killing themselves for, and I realized it was nothing. It didn't mean anything. I was getting it, and I was still killing myself to be in the fight, to be in the rat race, and wasn't getting anywhere. And it wasn't like I was trying to be in other people's rooms and impress everybody. That kind of, it wasn't even a getting old thing. I've never been that kind of person. Even when I didn't have money, and then even when I had it, I didn't care about the people in the room. I wasn't even that. I just knew in South Florida I had to have a certain car to be able to drive and go to meetings, and because people needed to know that I was successful. And then I said, I don't care if these people think that I'm successful. Am I successful? Ask yourself that. These things are important. So you thinking, oh, don't move abroad because I'm going to make a huge mistake. Well, you're in the right place to not make those mistakes. You're in the right place to get the information, to do the research, knowing 3 neighborhoods in a city that you want to live in. Yes, country, city. That's what they a lot of people forget that these places have states. Yes, I know. Just places on the map. I know. Places have states. So you go from country to city, I mean to state to city to neighborhood. All the neighborhoods are going to be different. You, where do you live at? I'm from Philadelphia. West Philly and Uptown are not the same part of the city. West Philly and South Philly are completely different. Southwest Philly and West Philly aren't West Philly or South Philly. The same nuances exist. Are you ready to learn? I don't know. Do you know? Do you just say things that sound good, but when it comes to action, procrastinate or you just fail to show up? Those things are the reason why you might need to gather yourself before you just start coming to places and thinking that you've got it all figured out. Because I hear this all the time. Yo, I'm from the hood. I'm good. Just, man, listen, bro. Just same way I said I'm from Uptown. It's a hood in Uptown. There's a hood in South Philadelphia, and I am not from the South Philadelphia hood. I do not. I know nothing about that. And they speak English, and they speak Philadelphia English. And you know what? I'm not going down there searching for pictures and stuff like that, because that is not what you should be leaving the United States in search of. But so many are. You see the content coming out. Would I feel lonely or disconnected after the move? It's a good question. Um, I personally think that if you do your move the right way, where am I living abroad? Sorry if I was a little bit late on that answer. I'm living in Medellin, Colombia. Um, Person who asked me where I'm living. Um, would you feel disconnected or lonely after the move? I think that if you do this the right way, you won't. You won't feel disconnected because you would have connected. You would have gone on a scouting tour or a specific tour to ensure that you met some people. I'm intentional. And I didn't just say this because you are here. People that know me know that I am very intentional. I just seen my brother Akeem come in here. We had him on yesterday. And Akeem knows my intention is very serious. When I was looking to move to Colombia, I was in the tourism ministry, bringing people, back and forth, that kind of stuff. But when it came down to like really like what living was going to be like, and from a perspective as an American, I wasn't 100% certain what full-time life was going to be like here. And I got into the group chats, the Facebook groups. You type in black in whatever where you want to go. You can get into the chats and see what they have going on. And there was a guy that was in there. He did group travel, similar to me. And he was like, yeah, I think he was one of the admins of the Black in Columbia chat. And I was like, nah, man, this dude look cool. He's into the same things I'm in. He lives in Columbia. He could probably help me get connected with some things. I'm gonna just message him and see like what's up. And he was like, yeah, what's up? That's cool. Like, let me know if you come to Columbia. So he does group travel, and he had a group trip to Puerto Rico. So they went to Louisa, Puerto Rico, and went out there to the Afro town in Louisa. And I said, man, I've never been to Puerto Rico at the time, and I'm all about Afro diasporic tourism, culture, and it was like, and this would give me opportunity to meet somebody that I may be getting to know in the Columbia community of expats that are living down there. So, booked the flight, booked the hotel. I'm not saying you have to do all that. I'm a little bit more nuanced than y'all when it comes to intention, and everybody's not in the group travel, but I wanted to meet somebody if I had the opportunity to before I left to be like, yo, what's going on there? Talk to me. What's really going on the ground? Let me know. I really want to know. I got connected to some more people through him with that, and I didn't start with from ground zero, and I was coming here, and I was like, okay, how do I get into the WhatsApp group? So the WhatsApp groups, they had an event, and I said, okay, let me go to the event because that's how you meet people. I knew everybody in that event was not going to be my cup of tea. I'm not everybody's cup of tea either, but I know there's opportunity for me to meet new people. So before I moved and sold everything, I actually came to Medellin. No, I didn't go on a neighborhood tour and all of that stuff because relocation wasn't put into a box like how we try to do it for you. I didn't know what it was that I was missing at the time. And comparing the notes with all of my fellow immigrants, expats, whatever you want to call us, we all did the same things. We just had to piece the resources together and trial and error and trial. But I came here and I realized that, like, okay, there's other people like me. I met some cool people. So when I came back and had sold all my stuff, I didn't start from zero. So when it came to me being lonely, I wasn't lonely. I wasn't. It was guys I knew I could go play basketball with because I got into the basketball group that was down here. Medellin has got a WhatsApp group for everything. If you like painting, you want to go hiking, if you want to do spiritual things, if you like going out to dance, they've got a WhatsApp group for everything. Now, not every community is going to be set up there with all of the WhatsApp groups and the different intents, but this one was. But I did do research to make sure what I expected was people that was like me and another whole set of people that looked like me and maybe even didn't look like me was down there in community with each other. And I got there and I said, this is exactly what I was looking for. I could do this. And when I came back, I wasn't in a position to be lonely because I had done the legwork. Because if I came and said, this is not going to be for me, I wasn't about to sell all my stuff and come here. Why would I have done that? So to put the loneliness thing, I would say if you move with the intention that some people will, by listening to these conversations, you will run into a scenario where you will probably not be lonely if you do it the right way. You can start building community. There's people now. We do our monthly events. We started January 2026. This month we had we did Andaluf dinner. Shout out to Darwin at Andaluf there in Manila. They got another location in Poblado. If you guys go there, it's Afro-Colombian restaurant, one of the only Afro-Colombian restaurants in the Poblado area in Manila. So definitely go check them out if you guys happen to be in Medellin. But then, this Friday, we're doing volunteering. We're going to be at a soup kitchen that we will be helping feed give food to elderly and vulnerable families. These are things I'm just not. This isn't a show. This is a preparation for you. We are doing the groundwork that we're trying to get you prepared for that you should come down here and be a part of. Yeah, let's get together. Let's do stuff. Let's explore the city. Let's explore the environment. Let's explore Colombia. Let's give back. Because remember, when I went to the immigration and went through immigration, I handed him my passport. He could have said, "Nah, bro." So you asked to be in these places. You're asking to be here. I challenge the people people that are around in these other communities around the globe that happen to maybe looking at this. You're in Mexico, you're in Thailand, you're in Bangkok. Start doing stuff with these people. Come together. Some bold person in the community come together and say, "It's enough of us out here. We can all get together and go grab something to eat." Somebody might be going through something. It's okay. I met a brother the other day, and he didn't even know that this was already happening. And he was like, "You know what? We got to get brothers that's out here together to meet, talk, just converse with each other. It's different living out here, and you're not running around in the nightlife and chasing nobody. You just trying to get it together. And we got the opportunity to build with each other. And it's like there are people that are on the other side of the TSA or that are waiting for you. Yet you don't even think that it's possible. You could be lonely with a room full of people that could be the exact kind of person because you came with America's thoughts and you came with America on you and you hadn't given it up yet. So I ask, are you ready? We don't know. You don't know. But the questions are designed so you could decide. Some of the other things I'm saying, we talked about the finances to start this conversation. Some of y'all are thinking like, I'm going to just move, bro, with $5,000 and everything's going to be okay. I tell people, if you don't have a job and you don't have a pension, don't come. No, you can't tell me what to do. No, I can't. But you want to be the next person on the summer jam screen. We're going to start bringing these people up on the summer jam screen and start pointing out and say, you see this right here? Don't do this. And this is why. We're going to start doing that. So keep an eye out on that because people need to be, it's not even about the people and the individual. I just need you to see this because maybe you haven't seen it, but this is what's happening. I blocked the people's name out, all that good fun stuff. But I need you to see this because people aren't having the times that they're selling you as social media lore. They're not saying, they'll go, oh man, I had a great time. Meanwhile, they didn't got robbed down here because they let people in their house that they don't know. But they don't tell you that. Or they'll say, this place is bad because I did something that was dangerous. So, when I tell you guys, when you come down here with your finances, make sure you got your money. Figure out how you make your money. But also, once again, you are probably in a scenario where you're spending a couple $1,000s a month. And if you were able to carve out an extra 2 to 3,000, what do you do with that? Are you now becoming some villainous person because you got $3,000 of blowable cash? Or do you think that that is not going to be able to get spent in a place that you say, oh, it's a third world country, so my money goes far? And I tell people the prices of some things. They're like, that's not the price. I'm like, I have no idea what the government, what government propaganda book you read, but you read it from cover to cover. Because yes, things are cheaper, but not everything. Some things cost more. Electronics cost more. Import taxes, those things. Housing here could cost more, or if you want certain things, you can get a $500 house here per month. Yeah, you can. What does it look like? I don't know. I don't know. I'm in the house working a lot of times. I can't be in the little box. I can't be in a hotel room. Everything what I do is not for you, and everything what you're gonna do and what you need is not for me. But you have to realize that your finances. And we had Corey. Shout out to Corey Hooks. Um, she's our financial expert. She helps people navigate. When you do move abroad, how to build wealth, what to do with that extra money if you have the right financial thought process behind it. But I see a lot of people, they come in here and they move and they say, I got 10 grand, it's gonna last me the whole year. And it's like, not when you're going out every night and you only go to places that's the tourist places, so it's tourist prices. You can get a menu del dia for $4. It's $4 here. But are you trying to sell a lifestyle or are you just trying to live? Most of our content isn't like, this is how much this costs and this is how much this costs. Like, you could come here and spend plenty of money. The financial thing I think a lot of people come up with is they get this newfound privilege and they become this different person. So now they're spending like they never spent before because I got the money to spend. I never had it. It was always tight. So now I'm just spending it and throwing it here and doing these things. That's the one aspect. The other aspect when thinking about the finances when moving here, and it's just like a lot of y'all not ready to be told what to do. I know. Y'all adults. You grown as hell. I get it. You grown. But you're a baby. You're a baby when it comes to stuff out here in the world. So when I tell you, I was talking to my boy about this today, and he's like, nah, when I go places, and like I tip, I make sure I tip them well because I know they're not getting a lot. And I'm like, so yeah, that's American thought process on your head. Your benevolence, your missionary stuff. And it's not saying that you can't tip anybody. Like that's not what I'm saying. But America got us beat up so bad that the tip culture out in America is absolutely absurd. They will charge you 20% gratuity and tell you that, well, this subsidizes their wages for the entire crew, the busser, the host, all of this stuff. And if you want to tip your actual server, you could tip on top of that 20% that you just gave. And it's like, who is paying these people? We paying for the food. We must be paying for the lights. We paying for these people health care. We paying for everything, and it's not coming out of your pocket. It's just flushed to the customer in every which way, called as gratuities and tips. Y'all want to take that on the other side of the TSA? Why? Some places do not tip. They don't. They say flat out American tipping culture. Tipping culture is an American thing. You guys come over here with your benevolence. You can't rub 2 pennies together in America. But now you move outside, go to a place where it's like 3,600 pesos to $1 in Colombia. It's let's call it 18 pesos to $1 in Mexico, 18 to 20 in Cape Town, South Africa. Don't know the exchange rate off of my head for Indonesia and Bangkok and Thailand. But what I tell you is, you guys come, you go get $100, and they're like, yeah, it's 360,000 pesos. You're like, whoa, Daddy Warbucks in the building. And y'all come and y'all realize that, these things are, your money goes a lot further, and now you just messing the economy up. You're the guy in the hood that just moved in and telling everybody to turn their music down. I see that too. Never mind the finances. I see that too. Why is Colombia so loud? Well, always there's fireworks. These fireworks been going off before you got here consistently. Everybody else is perfectly fine. Look outside, they're beautiful. It's a part of the community, it's a part of the environment. People go to New Orleans and saying it's too loud. People go to Harlem and saying it's too loud. I keep telling people, some of y'all are moving out of America to become the Karens and the Kens of the diaspora. And it's so sad to see. Shame on you. Shame on you. So when you go to places and they say, yo, we don't tip here. You only tip if their service was good. If the service was not good or it was just standard service, you're not obligated for a tip. But you and your benevolence and your missionariness and your newfound money that you didn't have in the United States, you're going to say, well, I want to give them, the wage is X amount of dollars, and I'm going to triple that because I got it. You didn't have it. You wasn't doing that there. Why would you come here? And then you guys don't realize the moment the door opens for finances, no matter if you're in a capitalist place or not, like most of these places y'all going to are not like extremely socialist. And I say that is because you go to these places where you do have free market economy, and once you open the door for profit, that door doesn't close. You think I'm lying? You old enough to remember when 9/11? I remember going through the daggone gate as a kid when somebody got out of the airport. After 9/11 to the airport, we could walk them all the way there and see the plane go off and then walk out the airport. After 9/11, they said, no more of that. Take your shoes off, all that stuff. But also, we're going to start charging you off of them bags. Because, the airline, the industry took a hit. 9/11 really set the industry back. So to make it up for all the money that the airlines lost, we're going to institute a baggage fee. And they opened that little baggage fee up, and they started seeing how much bags they was really moving. You think that door got closed? I told you I went to Morehouse. I'm old enough to remember. I remember when homecoming was free. You thought the first time that they opened up that door and they seen them dollars coming through and they said, we're not doing this no more. Hell no. And it's not isolated to any one situation, but the moment that the dollar comes in the room, the moment that the price is reset, it doesn't go back down. And you taking your newfound missionariness and benevolence around the globe into these places that have have an economy doing what their economy does, but now you've got money to spend. spare. So you're now tipping and making people feel like, oh, I just need to go towards and hang out with Americans, or I just need to cater and focus to Americans. You take a place like Canada, where they actually have a French. France has France and Canada. Even you go to the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands, that's not Britain. You can't go there in the USVI and feel like you got the crib in Chicago. Don't feel like home. This is important to realize. So when America is not waiting for you on the other side of the TSA, even in places that they have, you go to Puerto Rico. Oh, it's a territory. Why doesn't everybody speak English? If you've been to Puerto Rico now, there's so many people that don't speak English. So, well, they're a territory. Why aren't they doing that, man? Y'all are George Washington, Christopher Colombo. Y'all, every one of the people that y'all said that was wrong. But you got the opportunity now. That's what I said. I'm tired of seeing y'all on the other side of TSA and going out with this ignorance, having these problems in there, and then get on the internet and then want to tell people about all the problems about the place that you didn't go and wasn't prepared, didn't go and know how to navigate. Don't come on, y'all don't go. I haven't seen any American get on the internet and tell everybody how to not to go to Chicago, not to go to Miami, not to go to Philadelphia, not to go to Jackson, Mississippi, not to go to Gary, Indiana, not to, they don't go on into the United, they don't go to any United States place where any of the United States be as scams, anything. Y'all don't go any of these platforms and make content about what how everybody in Miami have a legal scam going on, and let's make content and tell everybody not to go. Y'all don't do that. But for some reason, y'all get on the other side of TSA, ask the immigration lawyer to let you in. And then everything that you want to show is this how cheap everything is. Y'all should come here because we got it good, y'all. Look how everything's so cheap. I can get my everything is cheap. That's what I want to tell y'all. Oh, I had a bad experience here. You know what? This place is bad. Y'all shouldn't come. Y'all should go somewhere else. Imagine a Karen or a Ken doing that about your neighborhood because they just ran into an experience or they came here and didn't know how to navigate. No, there's things I do in Philadelphia I do not do in Atlanta, and vice versa. And in South Florida, I do things that I do not do in Philadelphia. You know why? Because everywhere I go, I got to navigate differently. I always tell people when they ask me about safety, I say, you ain't safe. Right there. You on your couch. You ain't even safe. I know people in Philadelphia that have been sitting in their house and a bullet went in the house. In the house. Mass incidents are a common occurrence. You could be at the grocery store, the movie theater, the state fair, a high school graduation. It don't matter. It could go down. You ain't safe. People was more upset down here and making coming down here and person now they're the one. This conversation was and you, the person that called, and join the people that stay. Give up your community if you have. You must be lucky. What you were supposed to have. Amazing people. With people all over the world. I have met people in the middle with Spanish that didn't speak English, and I didn't speak another. I have utilized the and the type of people If I wasn't the kind of person that was open to those experiences, and I was the only person that would want to be with the people that I woke up at shape. 2026, my year. Are you ready to be a part of a community? You've been on an island this whole time. No, you might not. But I'm gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna get around. I'm gonna do what I can. I can definitely understand what you're saying. And it definitely looks like to move abroad and get reflections of his other on this situation, because yes, the spotlight is on you, the Black American person that's looking for, and Darren's in Kansas. They don't do something. Have relocation called a reality check. I don't want to do any more of this. We are going to move with you. We are moving with the intent. We can take, never mind the narrative, more so what opportunity to change the resource, not take. It was questions and real. I'm not ready. Keep coming back. Check and always Black expat as always, and